There.
Mom?
What, honey? I'm trying to watch the road.
Nothing.
Sean, don't do that. You had a question. You may as well ask.
Why did you kiss the roof?
Honey, people kiss the roof. It's normal. It's definitely normal. What, honey?
Does Grandma?
Yes, she does. Or she used to. You just haven't seen it yet.
Watch where you're going!
Nobody cares when you're in a hurry.
I don't want to go to Grandma's.
Well, that's too bad, Sean. I gotta pick up your poor sister, and then I need to take your grandmother to the grocery store. You know how crazy she gets if she doesn't get any help. It won't be too long.
Okay.
We're almost there. We may make record time.
Since that trip, my mother, a devout Christian, continued to kiss the car ceiling every time we passed under a green light. Her responses were speaking in tongues, humming hymns, heavy sighs, or wiping a sweat that hadn't actually formed on her forehead, as if she had just avoided a major catastrophe. It was a weird habit learned from her own mother, my grandma, a woman that, for years, would be referred to by my classmates and townsfolk as the Whispering Witch of Waco Drive.
This is a short audio drama by Michael Brasier. It's based on a short story, The Whispering Witch of Waco Drive, published in Crack the Spine.
The legend of a crazy, cauldron-stirring curmudgeon riding her broom, casting spells on children, and whispering curses spread amongst the town years ago. Though none of it was true. I think. I mean, I never saw magic wands or a witch's brew. Although her homemade stew, that was pretty horrendous. She was from Eastern Europe, rarely spoke to anyone, had feathery black hair and a bent nose. She looked like a witch, I guess. She lived in the shadows, kept to herself, and then somehow she met and fell in love with my grandpa, a man who tried and failed to hide his secret affairs with other women. He met his end when his heart burst one evening outside the house after staying out late with yet another woman. He wasn't noticed until morning. And people had already been cautious of my grandma since she acted differently, but after that, rumors spread that she might have cast death magic on him or something. And the townsfolk have been afraid of her ever since. I had plenty of friends from class, but no friends in the neighborhood. Anyone within the vicinity of Waco Drive tended to keep their distance. I mean, I invited over what friends I had, but I was instead driven to their homes by my mom, who didn't want anyone to ever experience my grandma. But one time, my friends Rudy and Eric did stay over.
Why does your grandma look like that?
Like what?
Like she's melting.
I don't think I've ever seen such a saggy woman. How much skin can someone have?
You think she has a skin disease?
I don't know, Rudy. I really don't know much about her.
Is there a weird-looking book by the chair? Her grimoire? Anything that looks like that is made in hell. Eric! Poke her big wart.
Stop it! If she wakes up...
She'll turn you into a frog? That's why we're here! Flick it! Oh my god, that's so gross.
Run!
Run! dead? You think she's gonna cook him?
Rudy, shut up! I've never seen my grandma do anything like that.
Eric, bro, what happened?
Hey, Eric?
Something's wrong. Your grandma did something. Did she curse him? Oh man, I bet she cursed him.
I need to lay down.
Sure, yeah, man, sure. He acknowledged us, but all the fun appeared to be drained from him. He went home early the next morning with a rash growing on his neck. Apparently, she had whispered something indecipherable, something hateful, ominous. Listening to my mother try to convince Eric's mom over the phone that what my grandma said wasn't a curse finally made me feel sorry for her.
Mother, we're here. Kylie's here. Come here.
My mother chose to have kids over a life of sisterhood at the St. Agatha convent in town. When my grandmother found out about her secret marriage to my father, she scolded him, to put it lightly. Knowing she was angry, my mother ignored her and continued on her quote-unquote erotically charged path with my father for 3 years until, during her second pregnancy with my sister, found out that an aneurysm had killed him. And of course, my mother's mind immediately went to the old story about how her father had died. From that, she hadn't been sure about anything since.
Be careful, Mother. Hold her like this.
I know how to hold a child. I held you.
I remember Grandma's loose skin hanging from her cheeks. All the warty skin on her face hung like wax melting over a mannequin head. My grandma held my sister to the discomfort of my mother, and when Kylie tugged on the excess skin that hung limply in reach, my mother panicked, jerked her back, jerked her away, because she was afraid in that moment that my grandma would purposely drop her.
Kylie is a horrible name.
My grandmother also thought that her name was very ugly for a woman. Not that it hurt Kylie's feelings over the years, being told that the name made her sound like a prostitute. You know, nothing ever bothered Kylie. She was immune to Grandma's wicked words, but I wasn't. It hurt. It hurt my feelings that she was always so harsh to me. Everything I said was a filthy lie. Everything I did just wasn't good enough. She was so against men that she easily convinced all of my girlfriends that I was going to be just like my father before me and his father before him. Kylie, she's the happiest and most successful of the family. She's married to a marine biologist named Tom and working a career as a traveling journalist and food blogger. I'm the typical grumpy manager at a bookstore, constant contact from my mother about reprints of the King James Bible and books about Elder Futhark runes.
Can you tell me where the Bibles are?
Religious books in the back.
Sean, please come to the front counter. Sean, please come to the front counter.
Oh, yeah, you guessed it. I'm still single. Hey, Mom, I'm at work. I can't talk.
Grandma had a heart attack. Apparently it happened in her sleep.
Are you okay?
What? Oh, yes, of course I am. You know how long I've waited for this day?
I couldn't imagine the anxiety that my mom had been feeling about my grandmother, having moved her into a house a year earlier instead of placing her into a nursing home, praying that she would croak sooner rather than later. To be honest, it was a relief to me too. Kylie, she acted as if nothing had happened. I mean, days later, she and her husband, Tom, they arrived at my house hours later than they said they would to go pick me up and take me to Mom's. I mean, they weren't in any hurry to say their goodbyes. When Kylie stepped out of the new car, she said,
"What do you think? You'll like it? It's a 2021 model, just a couple years old, but it's smooth and looks great."
That's awesome. Listen, apparently Grandma's last words were to not burn her.
Are you joking?
Nope. I assumed she meant don't cremate her, but...
But we don't have to worry about curses or stories or people throwing holy water on our cars and houses. God, she took long enough to pass.
Yeah, I think this proves that she was not a witch.
Why did we believe that? Were we crazy? Tom, am I crazy?
Oh yes, very.
You punk.
Well, Sean, you hungry? It may sound weird, but should we celebrate?
Okay, and then we'll go check on Mom.
Right. Yes. I wonder how she's feeling about all of this.
We finally went to Mom's house that afternoon. Right away, we noticed the absence of the 3 bells that used to hang in the doorway. The ones that we had to ring one at a time before we took off our shoes in order to please some spirits that Grandma believed to be living in the house. A pile of leaves were raked into a giant hill in the center of the backyard, and Mom was throwing extra things into the big massive leaves when we arrived.
Yes, that one too.
You're seriously burning all the chairs? I could use them.
All the chairs, Kylie. And the bed, and the sheets, and the apothecary.
Please don't burn that.
No, Kylie. Sean, grab the marshmallows and graham crackers, hun.
I don't think I want...
Why are you both disobeying me?
I just don't want to eat a s'mores over a cursed fire. Is that so bad?
Jesus Christ. Tom?
4th beer, dear. Whiskey is nearly empty, so, well, you know.
Fine.
I think I'll join you, Tom. Tom and I parked ourselves in lawn chairs and drank. A lot. More than I had ever drank in one sitting. But maybe it was my way of letting it all go. The years of anxiety and stress that my grandmother had placed upon me and the rest of the family. I mean, now that she was gone, maybe we could actually experience something like a normal family.
Huh. That was weird.
That's normal. Totally normal. Mom and Kylie argued over every piece of furniture Grandma had ever owned, while a few hired workers threw them all, one by one, into the fire. That evening, we watched from the chairs the things that my grandmother had owned. All of her clothes, all of her furniture, questionable dolls that we found stashed up in the attic, even all of the brooms in the house, all of it. Burn to ash.
This has been a short audio drama by the Sword and Ember Productions. The Whispering Witch of Waco,